Hello.
Hello, Lindsay. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
If you were to say how many hours you drove in the past 24 hours, what would the answer be?
I spent about half of the last 24 hours in a car. I drove for anyone from DC to Boston overnight. It's something maybe every well, I think you can probably live without it.
Uh, that's amazing. What are we talking about today?
1 degree decisions.
1 degree decisions. What is
You
that?
know what that? Okay, so I hear all the time as I'm talking to founders and marketers, but especially marketers in various different levels all throughout the organization, earlier, more junior, more senior. They'll get all riled up and all excited about creative thinking and all the things that you and I spend a lot of time talking about, Ian. And they get really excited and then they're like, well, cool, great. However, I'm not X. I'm not the CEO. I don't work at a really cool company. My product is boring. I don't get to control brand. So what am I to do? And so one thing that came to my mind a while ago is something that I call 1 degree decisions. And it came to me because of a little story. So I think you know this, but my oldest son is in flight school. Like he is trained to be a pilot.
I
Um,
didn't know that.
he is. He's way cooler than me. I don't know where he came from. But he's 14. He's taking flight lessons and he told me once about this whole story about if a plane is taking off from San Francisco. Let's say you are on a plane. You're leaving home. You're going from San Francisco. You're on a flight. If you are off by 1 degree, just 1 degree, you will be like 6 feet off course within the first like 100 yards. By the time you're over LA, you'll be off course by, I think, a few miles. That all feels figure outable, right? But if your destination is Washington, D.C. from San Francisco and you're off by just 1 degree, you'll ultimately land in Baltimore. So Baltimore's great, maybe, but it's not where you intended to go. So I take that all back to 1 degree decisions. We make hundreds, maybe thousands of decisions every single day, many of which we feel like don't matter because we're just whatever. We don't work for a really cool company or we don't have a huge budget. But we do get to control hundreds, if not thousands, of little 1 degree decisions every single day. And if we're really intentional about them, we can get to where we want to go. We can land in DC. But if we just treat them like, whatever, it's just a tiny decision, it's just a subject line, it's just a podcast episode, then maybe we land safely, but we land in Baltimore, which is not our highest potential. It's not where we intended to go. So that's my soapbox. 1 degree decisions, even when you feel like you don't have as much control as you would like, especially now as things are banana pants. I think it's important to remember that you do have a lot more control than you think.
So funny you say that. So back in February of last year, I wrote a blog post called "Dead Reckoning,"
Oh,
and it was from my time in the Army, where in a very similar vein, if I told you that if I buried $1,000 in cash that's 1 mile away from you, you just need to walk 1 mile at a 273-degree azimuth. If you're off by 1 degree, you're going to be off by a lot.
yeah,
So
never going to find the treasure.
that's right. Um,
Hmm.
uh, and I think that so often, like what we're trying to do is like be like pinpoint accurate in B2B. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think that so often like we want everything to be perfect. We want the product launch to be perfect. We want every piece of copy perfect. We want every post perfect. We want every piece of collateral to have the right dimensions. We want all that stuff to be perfect. But like in reality, like those are the things that like we're trying to control, but like aren't the most important thing. And like
Right.
you lose the forest through the trees. And like the thing is, when you are dead reckoning, what you do is you don't take your compass, you put it on your little chest. I'll stand up higher. So you take your compass, pretend that this is my compass. I was at an Andreessen Horowitz event last night. It was great. This is
Oh, yeah.
my
So
little,
fancy.
I know, so fancy. Shout out to them. On your chest. And instead of aiming for, so there's a mountain 273 degrees. There's a mountain. And you go, that's where I'm going for. So what you don't do is take your compass and put it in your pocket and then just walk towards the mountain. Because you got to go into the woods. You're not going to see the mountain. You will get lost. What you do is you aim 273 degrees at a tree that's 100 meters away. You walk to that tree, and then you get to the next tree. You take your compass back out, you put it on your chest, and then you shoot 273 degrees, and you go to the next tree or bush or rock or whatever it is. And so I think a lot of times in marketing is that like we're just like we say that we're going to go to like the big mountain, but we're like actually doing all of the steps that go to get us there. And like to your point, those 1 degree decisions, it's like if you can take control. No one's going to get mad at you for like walking 100 meters.
Yes.
But they are going to get mad if you just start walking to a mountain that's like a mile away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that like just so often like the great thing with AI and the creative sort of landscape that we're in is like you can do little tests yourself and build something cool or make something cool or like start a campaign or go test it with a few customers yourself to see if it resonates.
Yes.
And then that decision can turn into something bigger. And like that you do have the authority to do, right? Like go talk to a customer, test some messaging, see if it, write the messaging yourself. Like don't just like write some messaging, run it up the flagpole and say like, we should change all of our messaging to this. Like,
right.
Just try
and then give up if nobody's going to let you change all of the messaging, it's
for sure. And just be like, I had this great idea and nobody would let me do it. It's like, well, what's the 100-meter version of that you can walk alone and get to the tree yourself and then go back to your boss and be like, hey, like, I'm not lost. I got to this place. I talked to some customers. I tested this messaging. They all like it. And it's great. And one of the examples that I give for that is with content. When we want to go pitch a crazy idea, of which I have a lot of crazy ideas, as you know.
No.
And what I'll do is like, I'll just go talk to some people, and this is obvious, but like people don't do it. Just go talk to some people that are your, target audience and go and ask them, what do they like? What do they consume? What is the stuff that they like outside of work, outside of whatever? And then come back to your boss and use some anecdotal evidence. You're like, hey, I want to make whatever, a cybercrime thriller. They're like, well, I don't know if our audience will like it. They're like, oh, that's weird because I talked to 5 CIOs and like they all love the show Mr. Robot. I'm like, maybe we should make a show that's like kind of like Mr. Robot, but for IT.
Yeah.
Because they like that. And so like, and then they're like, oh, well, I don't know. That sounds crazy. And you're like, well, actually, I just built a little one pager and I showed this to them and I said, would you watch it? And they said, yes.
Yeah.
And like, those are the type of things that like, it doesn't even ever have to launch, but at least you like took some initiative by yourself and went and did that. And like, you're probably not going to get your hand slapped too hard.
No, because if you can look at the things that you're doing already, right? Like, let's say you're going to write an email, right? You have an email send that's going out. You have a blog post that you're writing LinkedIn posts, you're recording a podcast, you're selecting the guests for an existing podcast, you're creating a webinar. Chances are you have something within your control. You just got to look at it through the lens of like, how can I do something with this? Either like from your perspective, what you were just saying, how can I go get more information about how I could do the thing that I want to do and some data that it would actually be worth pursuing? And or how can I start to do some testing and get creative and get a little audacious within these like little 1 degree moves that I'm already making? Because if you start to say, if I can't go big, I'm going to go home. Like if I can't fly the plane all the way to Washington, D.C., if I don't know that I'm ultimately going to get to the treasure, I'm just not even going to try because I work at a boring company or I don't have the big title or I don't have a big budget. You're completely overlooking the things that you do have within your control, and the leeway that you do have to take risks and get experimental and get creative, and to prove that going even bigger would be wise. So there it is.
Let's talk about making moves. And every time I bring it up, I realize how bad the G and the S are.
You can never get rid of it, ever.
No, I can't. Okay, what are some moves to make someone who is trying to make 1-degree decisions in their marketing team or startup?
So, okay, a super simple exercise coming at it from the things that you like, control the things you can. I tell people, make a list. Make a list of the things that you're going to do today or this week or this month or this quarter, things that are already on your plate, right? Budget you already have, people you already have on your team, resources you already have available, things that you're already responsible for. Make a list. And then separately, write down your North Star, what you want to do, the idea that you have, the goal that you have, where you're trying to go, and then literally start to draw lines from the list of things within your control or resources that you have to the North Star and start there.
I love it.
How about you?
My move to make is try to make one person happy. Not on your marketing team, not your CFO, not your CEO, not anyone internally, not the sales team. One customer or prospect happy by making something just for them. And exactly to your point, don't go outside of your own little orbit, right? Say my creative constraints are I can only use what I have or what is around me that's for free right now to make the like MVP little pilot thing that's going to make this person happy. And so if it's a piece of content, whatever it is, if it's something crazy, if it's a crazy video, if it's a crazy, whatever, go talk to someone. Say, hey, what problem do you have right now? Like, what's something that you're really struggling with that I could create something to help you? And they go, oh, like whatever, I'm having trouble, linking up this tool to this tool. You're like, great. Go back and just make that one video for that one person and show it to them. And if they like it or don't like it, get notes on it or whatever. And then take that little prototype back to your boss and go, I made this thing. One person loves it. And I guarantee you that if one person loves it, there's 9 other people that probably would want this too.
Yeah. And then eventually 90 and then 900.
Yeah. And whether it's like large scale copy that you want to like rehaul your whole thing, or it's a campaign, or it's like whatever it is, it's like if you start with making like one person happy, at least you have sort of a foothold of something that you can 100% control. An example that we did, so we just launched this video pilot called The Lost Treasure of Mazatlan. And it's this crazy little fiction 2-minute vertical short, animated short about a YouTuber who is trying to get an archaeologist to join his treasure hunt, basically.
But how was it made, Ian?
And yeah, that's right. And so the creative constraints that we had were me, my head of development, and our video and audio animator illustrator. Was like, the constraints were the 3 of us have to do this. There's nobody else that we can go outside of this group for this. Like, we have to do it all here, with the exception of my wife did the voice for Dr. Lancaster. But so like I voiced one of the actors. My voice my wife was the voice for the other one. And we built this thing. We built in like about 2.5 weeks from development, using a bunch of different AI tools, using our own sort of like working through the problems. And we shipped this thing, and it's out there in the world, and we're getting feedback on it and seeing if people like it. And, we did all this stuff. And like, that's good enough. Yeah. And like, people are like, oh, are you going to make a whole series? Or are you going to do all this other stuff? It's like, we might, who knows? But like, that to me was like, here are the creative constraints. And we had all these other ideas. Let's do this, and let's do this, and we could do this, and let's do this. And we're like, no, it has to be the 3 of us. We have to figure it out ourselves. And if we can't do it, then we're not going to do it. Yeah.
And it's proof that it's possible. You've got to give yourself both freedom and guardrails to think differently and just take action. Otherwise, you'll get paralyzed with just overwhelm. So 1-degree decisions. There it is. So
That's our snapshot for today. 1 degree to
there it
freedom.
is. Snapshot. All right. Until next week.
Thanks,
We'll see you
everybody.
later.
Later.